Sup guys, this is the third episode of Pointless Minmaxing. Today I'm going to be comparing two of the most commonly used torps for auto mode, which are the Rainbow Quints and the Gold Quads. In order to test the torps, I did Arc Royal meta a bunch of times with both of them, and I tested them on Jinsu and Anchorage, who have regular torpedo spreads, as well as Kazagumo, who has reduced torpedo spread. And I only counted specifically the torp salvos that are aimed at an enemy, as you can see in the example here. I didn't count preloads because they can be random and a little bit dependent on the position of the ship in the vanguard. I also obviously didn't count salvos that just didn't aim at the boss at all, because it's not really the fault of the torps where the vanguard is when they get fired. And here is an example of two torps that didn't get counted, followed by one that did count, and then another one that didn't get counted. Finally, I didn't count torps that were launched too far away from the enemy, because by the time they reached, they were too far spread apart and only 1 or 0 would hit. Anyways, here's all the data that I gathered. I counted about 60 salvos that were aimed at the boss for each torp on each type of spread. Long story short, it's very clear that Quints don't hit an extra torp per launch on average. They do have a slightly higher average hit count, but not enough to make up for the slower reload. And as a result, they have lower DPS than quads, both for normal spreads as well as reduced spreads. The difference is a little bit bigger for reduced torp spreads, but not enough to save its DPS. And for the DPS, I just took the hit rate and I multiplied it by the light DPS on the wiki tables. When I first found this out, I was pretty disappointed, because I started playing shortly after the rerun of Divergent Chessboard on the Japanese server, and I didn't have the Rainbow Quints for a couple years after I started playing, until they added them to the Gear Lab. At the time I was so excited to finally be able to get my hands on a couple of these, and then after I made my first one and I got it to plus 11, I realized, oh, it's actually not even that good. So I left it at plus 11 forever, and upgraded a bunch of gold quads instead. Anyway, to sum it all up, the pros for the quads are that they have higher single target DPS because of the hit rate combined with a faster reload. They have better timing for buffs, so whether that be Helena or maybe you're using torpedoes with plenty of commonly used ships that have buffs around 20 seconds, like I could name off a bunch of them off the top of my head: Shinano, Haku, Musashi, Shokaku, Duke of York. Let's see, what else? Arc Royal. Even AVP, the stop might help with the torpedoes. What else? Saratoga, if you're into that for whatever reason. And so on. All of these sync better with the quads. Not only that, but they're a lot cheaper to get. You can just open a few Iron Blood boxes and probably get one. And they're also much cheaper to upgrade. You can make 3 of these for a single Rainbow Quint. And as far as cons go, there isn't really any for the quad mags. And then for the Rainbow Quints, they can be a little bit better for mobs since they have a little bit extra coverage with the extra torp, but they're definitely not strictly better since they're slower, and damage uptime usually is better for mobs. And they have higher damage potential, which I put in quotes because that's not taking into account buffs, as well as how it's super rare for it to hit all 5 torps. You could also maybe argue that it's a little bit better on Shimakaze and Ibuki because they have double preload, but I don't have data to back up either side of that argument. And then the last pro is that they're rainbow and they're shiny, and come with a nice plus 65 torp stat. And the cons are just where they're outclassed by the quads. They're weaker on average, and you can get 3 for the price of 1. That's pretty much all I've got for this video. Ideally, I would suggest that you don't listen to anyone blindly and do your own testing if you care about this stuff. If there's some aspects of the Quints that you care about that I didn't really touch on, like for example, if what you care about is PvP, then obviously the Quints are going to be better for you. Personally, I don't even consider the Quints to be worth making, which is why I haven't made any past the first one. But if you do decide to make them and upgrade them to plus 13, I won't judge you. Actually, no, that's a lie. I will judge you. I'll judge you very hard. I'll think you're an idiot if you do that. Consider this your last warning before you get judged by a random guy on the internet. And I'll also judge you if you care about PvP, by the way, so be careful what you care about. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.